all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode off the dome. I'm humble interviewer Jordan Brown. With me, as always, our prolific producer. Say hi, prolific producer.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Hello.
Hello. Taylor, it's so good to see you again.
It's great to be here again.
A really important question out of the gate. Do you want me to send you my son's guitar? I know you were looking for instruments. Is that
a full six-string little tiny guitar?
Yep. He would be devastatingly sad if it wasn't here. The exciting thing is...
Don't, you fucking weirdo.
The exciting...
hey, Taylor, real quick. First question on... we're recording this for content. First question. Should I hurt my son?
I'm really excited because I could not figure out what this weird metallic echo was, and I realized it's because I was speaking directly into a child's guitar, because I had to have the prop next to me for the bit.
That could be an interesting effect. You want to get into sound design.
Solved it. But you were looking for instruments. Look, we'll plug it right out the gate. I got the Patreon. People write in questions, and literally someone was like, "I just want to hear him ramble about his instrument search." And I was
I'm trying to get more into like using actual physical instruments rather than samples in a computer, and so I've been asking people if they have any old high school marching band instruments. If you got any clarinets, call me. I would love to get a clarinet. We got saxophones coming, we got flutes coming. I just got a bass ocarina.
Ooh,
a bass, and so actually a lovely name. I should write that down. And looking for any sort of instruments like that. So I put out the call in some social network stuff.
It's very exciting.
Just so I can do a little honking and a plucking.
Yeah,
in a mic.
It's very fun. Last time we talked, people were mildly convinced that you are Vigo the Carpathian. I think based on the portrait behind you, or that you are a living painting from Ghostbusters 2, ready to come and take over New York. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember the plot. All I know is it was solved by kindness.
Actually, it was solved by shooting lasers at him.
No, everyone in New York sang Auld Lang Syne, and then he was too weak to fight back.
But you need both. You need guns.
You do need the
kindness.
You do need the lasers as well. You're right. I don't know. There's no question there. Hey, you want to hear 2 fun questions from the Patreon?
No.
There were several "How dare he," which is fun. But here's
what.
I think it was about I call it a bussin', and I can't remember the actual name of the episode, and that's Brennan's fault. But there was how have you become such a powerful composer in such a short time? WTF?
Sacrificing everything else that can make me happy in my life. Next question.
How is it doing the best scoring in any piece of audio content ever?
I haven't heard every piece of audio content, so I can't confirm the assumption in the question, but I am flattered and charmed by it. So anybody who says that can kiss me if they want.
Wonderful.
Charm.
Great. But yeah, things are going good. You're in arc 4 of The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One. You had, I would say, probably the most impressive audio episode in a I think, is it a basin? That's the actual Abyssin.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you listen to the show, Jordan?
Every once in a while.
Have you heard the show?
I'm vaguely familiar. I'm 4 arcs behind. How am I doing?
Pretty good. You're better than most of the Earth population, so you're in the top 1% of humans on having heard the show. Yeah, I just got back I just yesterday escaped L.A.
Yeah,
I John Carpentered out of there, and I say escaped.
Are all your friends safe and sound?
No, I think anyone who has a lot of friends in LA, it's unlikely that all your friends are safe and sound. And even if someone's home is intact, the disruption to daily life and the toxins flooding the atmosphere, and their friends and family being displaced is just horrific. What's going on out there? But no, thankfully, I don't believe anyone on the show has been directly. I don't know. Things are changing so fast. But I know that as of yesterday afternoon, no one had been forced to leave their home just yet. But no, I say escape New York, but I was not in any. I mean, I guess everyone's in danger, but I was not running. Wasn't like Dante's Peak where I'm running with Pierce Brosnan away from fire.
Oh, but can you imagine?
Maria gave me the ride to the airport, and I flew out around lunchtime. But we were the house we record in is now one line away from an evacuation zone. So we just recorded like a week of, we got an interlude and 5 episodes in the bag. Did not finish arc 4, so we still have not finished arc 4 for wonderful reasons. But no, I'll be going out soon. Hopefully, if the beautiful city of Los Angeles persists, I'll be going out there to finish it in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they should really put out the fires. I think that's what they should do.
Do you see? Have you seen the videos of the helicopters and
they're really cool.
The lifters, the tank? I don't know what the VTOLs.
Yeah,
the planes. That's incredible.
Yeah, I lived in LA a billion years ago, and there was a fire in Burbank on like the hills, and I watched them drop water via like plane, and like I just sat and took pictures as they were doing that, and I was like, this is amazing. And that was like 2006. They got to be so much better at it now.
I mean, you watch that helicopter just like pinpoint strike a fire with water, and I'm just like, I've wasted my fucking life. Like anyone who's not a flying fighter is kind of wasting their lives. We should all do that. We can't have that many helicopters in the sky. It would be terrible. Can you imagine the commute?
Yeah.
But we can't do it. But like, I do feel like I'm just making podcasts, and that guy can
put out fires. But you can start fires. So, talk to me about the fireball in. Well, the smoothest transition I've ever had.
So smooth.
Do you want to talk about the fireball? Everyone loved it.
Not much to say. Like, Jared Olson did a great job on finding and designing that sound, and yeah, it rules. It's great. I think it's one thing that's really fun about making a show like this is, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the fact that the game we use is well known. Like, I love it because that creates a market for the show, and we're able to make it a financially sustainable first outing. You don't have to use D&D obviously to have a successful actual play, but boy, it helps grease the wheels at the top.
Yeah, it's really easy. It's a lot easier if at the beginning of it you don't have to explain the system you're using to anyone who wants to talk to you about the show.
Yes.
You can just be like, hey, D&D? That.
But the flip side of that coin is you are then limited on the show. That the imagination of the work is limited by what people assume about the system you're using, and I fucking hate that shit so much. But one thing that's fun is to take something that people have a good feel. Like, everyone who plays D&D loves and knows the spell Fireball. All right, that is like it has it like. It's almost like a mainstream cultural touchstone. It's how popular that one spell is, and everyone's got a feeling about it. So to take something that everyone already knows and then like design and score it in such a way that it is freshly exciting, that it feels, even if you didn't already have a relationship with it, it feels as good as it did when you were 14 using it for the first time in a home game. That rules. I love that. I love, like, to reignite our love for the Fireball. That's a good time.
It was so good. What has bringing Jared in? What does that freed you up to do?
Changed my life. I can have a relationship with my wife, other stuff. It's great.
You can drink coffee from a wharf mug.
You can drink coffee from a wharf mug.
You can spend time talking to me. You can spend time on other podcasts. I think starting fights about podcast awards, if I understand what's coming very soon, for fans of many-sided medias, whatever the name of the sit down at the table. I don't remember the name of their show, and I've talked to Brian about it.
I was Many-Sided Media, which is the same folks behind, My First Dungeon and Talk of the Table.
Talk of the Table. That's the one.
My one advice to them, choose a name. Fellas, have one name. And don't. You're doing great. We did like me and Emily Friedman, who I'm sure your followers know, did a sort of state of actual play conversation on Talk of the Table that will be coming out Monday, I think. And I do have strong words for the organizers of actual play awards shows.
I can't wait. You have strong words, and they're some of my favorites.
Look, here's my fundamental critique. Why haven't I won anything? If your award shows are so good, why aren't they fetting me?
A valid critique, I think.
Any party that doesn't invite me, it's a bad party.
Yeah, that just makes sense to me. I was trying to come up with a smooth transition. I don't have it. It's something about
Let's wallow in more spite.
Yeah. I do have at the top of my notes podcast beef ? Just to see if you wanted to start any, if there were any podcasts out there that you want to pick a fight with.
I mean, I would like to take Michael Barbro's head and shove it in an overflowing storm drain. But other than that, I can't think of anything directly.
That's fair. I was thinking more in like the actual like last time we made a fun little you threatened Brian Flaherty's. Oh no, Brian threatened your life, so you then said I don't know her. It was good times. But
okay.
Yeah.
No. Everyone engaged in this genre of podcast is my comrade. I have no complaints.
Yeah, I didn't think they were real beefs.
Not real beefs.
Let's start fake beefs to drive engagement. That's what this is. Everything is content. That's why we're talking today.
Who's hot? Let's see. Who do I? Oh, you legends of Adventress. You fucking dickheads. They're so charming. I love hanging out. I can't do it. I can't pretend. Brian was easy.
Yeah. Oh, this is delightful. As always, Brennan makes a lot of mouth noises.
Yeah.
And I like very specific ones into the microphone intentionally. I shouldn't say. I don't know. He maybe makes unintentional mouth noises as well. When you hear those, are you like, do I have to cut around that, or am I gonna like amplify Brennan's silly mouth sounds?
At the beginning, I never cared for when DMs would make sound effects, and now I love it. It's extremely helpful. It also puts a beat between. It like gives space for us to add design, and I really, really like it when the sounds that Brennan makes are pretty good, because then we can design behind them and keep both the design and his sound, and sometimes they combine into a really nice. I think a really nice sound. I think it's rad as hell. I think it's really cool. I like it when they overlap. I love it.
It's very fun. Speaking of Brennan, let's get into Velveteen.
Okay.
You very graciously have jumped in to play truly one of the most nightmarish builds. A build maybe is not the right word.
You haven't seen the build yet. I have to build it first.
But truly nightmarish creations imaginable in Velveteen, the Wild One, for my charity one shot. The reason why it's speaking of Brennan, when I asked you for a headshot, you sent me, I'd say, the sassiest picture of Brennan I've ever seen. And it made me laugh very hard, and I absolutely used it everywhere on social media. I believe you were with Brennan when I published it. Did he have a reaction to it when he saw it?
No, I was with Abria. And yes, we did, and we thought it was very funny. That is my favorite picture of Brennan. It really captures his sort of aw shucks sex idol aspect, which we don't pay enough attention to.
1,000,000%. Hey, you want to talk a little bit about Velveteen?
Oh yeah, I'm excited for Velveteen. Velveteen's
anything you can tease about him, as much or as little as you would like to say.
Sure. I used to do a lot of actual play on mic, and I'm so excited to get to do it again. I really, really miss it. And Velveteen's going to be a lot of fun. Velveteen, I'll be using my favorite character voice ever, or trying to. They change day to day. Velveteen is a spirit, and Velveteen is a barbarian, a Path of the Giant barbarian.
Yeah.
Should I say more?
If you would like.
Well, it's up to you. You tell me. You're the DM.
Well, the way that this will be helpful, the more you say, the more likely people will be like, I want to see that nightmare at level 20.
Okay, listen.
Which means we raise money for
it's
Doctors
about money?
Orders.
All right,
yeah, it's about money.
Hey, kids, come here. I'm going to give you everything. Let me tell you something. All right, look. This Velveteen, first of all, I'm not going to do it, but just understand this guy's got a great personality. Just first of all, you're going to want to be hearing. You'll be, anytime Velveteen's not in a scene, you'll be saying, hey, where's Velveteen? Velveteen is a spirit whose body is like Dutch Delft porcelain, like a porcelain sort of mannequin, but the head is a bird cage, and inside the bird cage is an enormous Scuddigera centipede, the house centipede, the one that has like 1,000. It's the most terrifying creature on earth that lives in all of our houses. And you're on the toilet and you look over and there's one the size of a chihuahua at the bottom of the sink. You know that guy.
Yeah.
That's him. That's the spirit. Path, the giant barbarian, also means that if we can get to 14th level, he can become Colossus in size, which is what, like a 6x6 square on the grid? It's huge.
Yeah.
It's enormous.
And then the worst nightmare.
Jordan has to contend with like 10 or 15 foot reach from a barbarian. Come on, please let me. This guy is both the most charming man you've ever met, horrifying to behold visually, and I really want to give Jordan a lot of headaches in the battle grid. So please help us get to Colossus size.
I'm very excited for it, and we won't say what, but Velveteen also does have a glamour form, and it's somehow more upsetting than Centipede Head.
I disagree. House centipedes is what they're going to send. That's what they're going to put on me in hell.
Fair.
Or in heaven, as my punishment is entertainment for everyone else in heaven. That's how I imagine it works.
I don't know if I've ever heard that take of heaven before.
No one will come to my church. Do I have a bad heaven? Be honest. Did I fuck up the design on heaven?
Yeah. We take the bad people and torture them for our own amusement.
That would make good people happy to see bad people punished, right? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense at all. God, this is maybe a conversation topic for
This is a many-sided media show here. It's a new show from many-sided media. Invent a religion. I will say, like, I begged people to stop leveling up Abria, not because I'm afraid of her.
She's at 20, right?
Yeah, she's at 20 now. Because there is milestone, but not like D&D milestone, but every $1,000, everyone in the party levels up, because I was afraid it was going to be like, Abria's at 20, everyone else is at 2. And that's not a particularly fun game if combat breaks out, because it's, all right, well, we better hope Abria goes before the monster or we're dead, and she does everything.
I would suggest that everyone level up but Brennan.
Yeah, make Brennan a level like 3 witch.
Level 1. Let's see the journey. Mr. 9 episodes of a session 0. Let's see how he likes it.
Yeah.
Put him down.
Everything. Every time I'm just gonna steal from Brennan constantly, and then do I learned it from watching you, Dad. Just every mean trick he's ever had, and then throw it back at him. Be like, yeah, you're level 1, and I am attacking you with a legendary creature. Go for it. But yeah, I begged people to stop leveling up Abria because I was like, she's gonna hit 20. She is at a point at like 17 or 18 where like we're gonna clear another couple of thousand. Like she'll hit 20 easy, and people didn't listen to me. They just kept sending in more levels for her.
Speaking of not listening to people, I have told you this in private. I'm putting it on the record. This is folly. You are signing yourself up for an enormously complicated game. There's 6 of us, five or six.
There's 6, yeah,
6 of us, and we're going to be very high level.
Yep,
that's a lot. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be super fun.
Right. Good.
And will we? How much will we do in 3 hours? Who knows? Maybe very little.
I'm reminded of that recently. That billionaire that's been going on all the TV shows and podcasts and looking into the camera and saying, "I will not die."
Yeah,
this is that level of hubris.
I am the billionaire's DM. Yes.
Did you hear the little giggly whine that he just made? You're going to be hearing a lot of that on the 18th.
It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited about it. That's the thing. Like, it can't, people are like, Bria's going to ruin you. And I'm like, she can't. She's like, she can destroy every encounter. It's going to be fun to watch. That's the only thing I care.
She's going to swat your house during the stream.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. she's got to contend with fire. I'm safe in Austin, Texas. Probably, I say is
Boy, you love teasing God.
I say as a winter storm front is moving in today, threatening our power grid once again. It'll probably be back on by next week. But yeah, it's going to be so much fun. But yeah, as of this morning, I haven't looked. We were at like 11,000 something. We're going to get some borders on those doctors. I'm very excited about it.
We're going to do it. These doctors, they actually want structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like beneath all the, but they say they actually need some borders. It's in their best interest to have a couple of borders.
Yeah, you did. One of your, I don't know what they're called on, what the hell, Blue Sky. They're not called tweets, obviously.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, great. I guess we can take that, right? Because it's not Twitter anymore.
It's just yeah.
Anyway, someone tweeted at you. They're like, "Are you a wild one barbarian or are you a wild magic barbarian?" And you said, "Buy one border for one doctor, and you'll find out." And that really delighted me. Good stuff. Good stuff. Speaking of things that have never been said on mic, one time my family was sick and you checked in on me several days later, and it was incredibly kind and it meant a lot to me. I actually think I did say that to Abria, but I don't know if I said it on mic.
No one's ever said thank you to me on mic. No, of course.
Wonderful.
Of
course. And then this may be something that you would like me to cut out. You got sick. And I couldn't check in on you because I was so afraid that if I sent you a text that was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" which was genuinely the concern, is it was going to sound like me saying, "Hey, where the fuck is that episode at?"
Oh God, that was such a bad week.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I do it to myself.
But yeah, I want you to know, if this ever happens in the future, if I'm checking in on you, it is for your actual health and safety, and I don't care about the episode. Do you know how great it is for me to not have, like, I'm loving Worlds Beyond Number being on like a little like chunk hiatus, because I have so much time to listen to other podcasts now, and it's not just like consuming every day of my life. It's great.
I'll take your word for it that there are other podcasts.
Yeah,
I think that's great for you.
It's this little one called Critical Role that I'm trying to catch up on. I'm just 7,000 hours behind, I think, and I've listened to 100. No, I shouldn't say that. I've listened to like 250 episodes, so I'm like halfway done. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think they do make new content every week, and I will, in fact, never catch up. It is Sisyphean.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah. I don't. Where do they have the time? I will say also, though, you did send one of my favorite texts ever, which was, "I lived, bitch," unprompted after the episode. Well, I guess it was the day before the episode came out, because you sent me the episode early and I got to listen to it, and it was delightful. But
yeah, that was when I was able to finally walk again.
Yeah. It was everyone. It was really cool. I'm sure there were people on Reddit, of course, that were like, "Where's the damn episode?" But everyone I saw and engaged with was really great about like safety and health of staff should take priority over us getting a story this week.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reason I don't want to work for a TV network. You know, I mean, listen, I'll make a TV show. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love TV. But like, I and most of the other creative people I work with are very adamant about having your bread and butter be independence, or, your bread and butter project should be the independent project. For so many reasons that I could talk for a million hours about all of them. But one of the best ones is it forces you to be closer to your audience. And that relationship encourages a level of warmth and flexibility and understanding you don't get in mainstream traditional broadcast media. Also, one of the reasons that entertainment schedules in the commercial and traditional world are rock solid, locked down, is because of advertising. In order to effectively measure whether or not you're getting a return on your advertising dollars, you need media to come out at a lockstep pace. But if you look at art that is not based on advertising, movies, novels, they don't have a set release schedule. Like movies are constantly being moved around when they come out. Novels. I mean, I'm still waiting on that third Patrick Rothfuss book, and it's like, and no one, people might be fans are occasionally frustrated they don't have the treats that they want. But it's not like a do or die thing. I mean, yeah, you always want to be putting out stuff on a timeline that like lets people know that you're still alive, you're still making it. And especially with serial storytelling that we engage in, you don't want everyone to forget everything that's happened in the story before, the next chapter comes out. But the kind of stuff we make and the business model being focused on direct funding from people who really get what we're doing and supporting us versus corporate ads, that means that we have that warmth and flexibility where if someone is impaired, if someone suddenly comes down with, just an unbelievable sickness that knocks them on their ass for a week, it's not the end of the world. We're not going to fire that person. Like we can be flexible because we've chosen to be a more human project. That's it. I mean, so far from being like a surprising side effect or anything like that level of warmth and conscience about it is absolutely built into the way it is designed, and is something that like I think everyone who appreciates creative independence like proactively seeks out and appreciates. So yeah, I'm enormously thankful that I'm working on the kind of thing that allows it, and I work for the people, which is the patrons, who have a good head on their shoulders about it, 100%. And there's always going to be a couple people that complain and whine they're not getting their free wizard improv podcast treats, on the schedule that they're used to. That's fine. I think a lot of that. I think if you ever find yourself complaining about a free like a free fantasy podcast release schedule, if you ever find yourself like writing a comment complaining about that, like pause and just take a look at what's going on. Like just what, like just think about the things you could be doing instead. Now, if you find yourself complimenting that same show, stop thinking and just plow into that. Like that really is good. That's a sign that everything in your life is going well and you've made good decisions. But if you're writing something negative about that, just really examine your priors.
That makes sense. Well, speaking of, now it's time for our ad break. Hey, Honey, the browser extension that everyone has learned is a scam, that's our new sponsor here at Off the Dome.
Jordan, I would recommend
BetterHelp, Honey, hit me up.
Yes,
I'm ready to sell out for the you aren't going to get the big ones anymore. The little ones, hey, we're available.
I heard that BetterHelp is now going to allow you to tick a box that says sassy minority. And then you can just sort of have any sort of a cultural menu of your AI chatbot therapist. And I'll also say I love Honey. I use it myself. Sometimes I'll go unbidden and just give it all my medical data. Yeah, including my social security number. And then I think, that really, I see no benefit from it, but I feel I can trust it.
That's going to get you the 5% discount code for sure. As someone who's had just uninstalled Honey because I very foolishly was like, it's gotta be good. It sponsors my favorite podcasts. I couldn't tell you the last time it found a coupon code for me. So anyway, I am available though. Those two, Magic Spoon, your cereal tastes like dirt and awfulness. Send money my way, and I'll lie about how good it is. So that's my general stance about advertising. I will lie for money.
Magic Spoon cereal does taste bad. It does.
It made me so mad when I got it because another one. I am so easily duped by my favorite podcasts because if you put someone I love saying, "Here's a thing," I will buy that thing. It's a thing that happens to me, and. Yeah, someone was like, it's like the cereal from when you were a kid, but now it's good for you. And then I tried some, and I threw a full box away because it was so bad.
Look, this is tangential, and we're far away from topic. But look, if you want like a sweet, protein-rich breakfast, here's what you do. You buy some fucking protein powder, you throw that in a blender with some almond milk and blueberries, boom, you're done. A scoop of peanut butter, oh, that shit's delicious as hell. Go for it.
Yeah.
It tastes fine.
It's fine. You're never going to get Rice Krispie treat cereal that is good for you. That's just how the world works. Also, you're never going to get it that tastes like it did in the 90s because they changed the formula and I hate it. Indri's theme is a solo violin.
Ah, yes.
Intentional because she wants to make the coven a coven of one.
Yes.
Ah, I love it.
Absolutely,
That's so beautiful. Of course. I love a good. You are. I mean, I'm going to say the master, but let's say it because I'm complimenting you, and I'm not going to think about it anymore. You're the master of like intentionality in sound choice, in terms of like themes and instruments. Of you've talked before about like, well, when they were singing, was it the Rain Road,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like we brought in some instruments of the Empire, but the music of the common folk, that sort of like brilliance. Anyway, I'm just talking now. You say things because you're the reason people are here.
Whoa, Diane Sawyer over here is running me down these hardball questions.
You're so good. How do you do it, Taylor?
Kids, Diane Sawyer was a telejournalist for many years in the 20th century.
There was a thing called television news.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite things. And there's sometimes I will definitely foreshadow like future events with the score. And I'm always worried that like, oh, someone's going to do a close reading to the music and figure it out, and which is so stupid. It's both. It's stupid and self-centered to feel that way, because no one's paying that much attention to it. But I do sneak in some like little hints as to what's going to happen, or secret allegiances, perhaps, or even sometimes secret identities. And who's to say,
it's like when
I'm doing this just to fuck with people in the Discord. Honestly, there are no secret identities. Or are there? Oh,
Ursulon
God,
is the man in black.
That shit. Let me tell you, it is so fucking frustrating when I see glimpses of like those crazy alt reads online, like Suvi and Ame are the same person. Huh? Fucking M. Night Shyamalan ruined it for so you can't publish a story now without someone saying the most insane countertextual horseshit you've ever heard about it. But as long as they're enjoying the show, that's fucking fine with me.
Yeah. They're talking about the show. All press is good press. That's not a true statement. Please stop saying that. No one thinks that. It's so wild to me. I don't see a ton of those, but I know like when you and Brennan were talking about like the post credit scene of Man in Black, you were like, what if people figure it out? And then of course it was the thing where people were like, oh no, we didn't. No one knows what you are doing. I've done that as a DM before. I'm like, my players are gonna figure out my big mystery, and then they're like, look at this cute goblin. I'm like, oh right. I've distracted them with shiny things.
Well, I mean, sometimes, the reason it's not like let's talk about the example of Indri, the sound associated when we first meet her, the sound of the solo violin. So yeah, I mean, she, all the Coven of Elders witches literally represent, in terms of like almost a political representative. Because I think people maybe misunderstood that like they are avatars of certain like values and stuff. No. They are just into these areas of the world, and so they choose each other to sort of represent that area. So if you're making a decision and you want all aspects of the world to agree, who speaks for the trees? Who speaks for human civilization? Who speaks for the aspect of the world where things come together to be more than the sum of their parts? Which of the world's heart? Who speaks for entropy? Who speaks for the opposite of coming together, things falling apart? Death as not as an evil or destructive entity, but as a natural part of the cosmogonic cycle of expansion and retraction to leave and sorry, I'm getting on my Joseph Campbell shit now. Anyway,
my only concern was how much coffee is in that Worf mug.
Oh, but you can see his enormous, not as big as my head, but pretty big.
Yeah.
So yeah, Indri, as much as Ame represents, people together, things coming together. She is the self, which is not bad or evil. It's just another side of the coin, another aspect of everything. So you want, like, when you're writing music and designing for these things, that should always be in your mind, is like, what do these people mean? Where do they come from? What are they about? What aspect do they fit in the story structure wise? And it just so happens that Indri, of course, is a soloist. And so, of course, if you design for her themes, as she grows into her theme, as it's revealed that her big goal is to become a soloist in the story, but that's both me and Brennan just like choosing a theme and running with it. And if the great thing about working on theme is, if you stay true to it, everything clicks. Like, you'll find a million different places that you couldn't have planned where things work out and they have this extra meaning, because you chose like one vibe, one direction, one idea, and sort of stuck to it. It's nice. It's one of the great things about improvisation and working creatively with a group of people. It's just because when it works, it looks like genius magic.
Yeah.
But the actual stuff behind it, not that complicated.
I have two things. One is just a super side tangent. I fell a little behind during WitchCon, which means I didn't see the art for the witches until like well after. And so I was listening, and I thought her name was Injury, Injury,
Sure.
for like 5 episodes until I went and looked at the art, because like, oh, I remember they released art, and like I went to look for it, and I was like, I was been wrong in my head the whole time. But two, speaking of working together, you posted a real beautiful tease from this past weekend of "Got 'em" from Brennan Lee Mulligan to you mid-session on the company Slack.
Let me tell you, the best thing about endings is for years we have been building things, building machines, setting traps, laying foundation, having 2 beats of an idea. And now that we're reaching the end of book 1 of The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One, all those traps are triggering. All those things are coming to fruition. The machine we've been building is finally going into action. So yeah, it's an amazing feeling to have all these things happen and come to fruition that we have been planning and seeding for years.
I can't wait. Well, speaking the end of book 1, you got space coming soon.
Yeah,
How
buddy.
you feeling? How you feeling about scoring a space opera?
Fantastic. I'm very, very excited about it.
Is it all synths? How are you feeling?
Yeah, you can see some of the synths we've got down here in preparation for Space is the Place. I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be a huge challenge. It's going to be an enormous challenge to change up the vibe and the genre of everything that we've been doing, and to keep it fresh but still keep it good. I'm still relatively new at composing. I'm very new. I am a baby, and so to take everything I've learned and then make it extremely difficult by adding analog, hands-on music production techniques, and an entirely different genre and style of music and show, it's a huge challenge. But it's the kind of challenge that makes me like happy to jump up out of bed every morning. So
yeah,
I'm down for it.
I'm really excited for it. Do you think we'll get a single episode of Space Adventure in 2025?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we don't, we're fucked, because we are wrapping up book 1 soon.
But
so.
your release schedule is not like the speediest. Not a complaint. But like you got some time before book 1 wraps up.
Yeah, we do. We do. I think now none of this is set in stone. But I think this is what we're going to do, and I don't think this is like big news. I think this is pretty common sense for anyone who's paid attention to how we do it. I think we're going to wrap up book 1, and then we're going to have a substantial little wait, not too substantial, not crazy, until we start with the new space show. And in between, we're hoping to have some smaller multi-episode stuff. Who's to say what that will be? Who's to say who might be DMing or GMing that. They're I have to be so careful what I say. I don't want to break news. Uh,
Hey,
and also
I'm
nothing
ready to
is.
break news. It's
I know
good.
you do. I know you do, but I don't. And the press must be the gadfly. You know. Yeah, nothing is set in stone, but hopefully we will have a little, maybe 1 or 2 miniseries between that'll be very fun.
I can't wait to hear Lou DM confirmed here by Taylor Moore.
I have that has not been confirmed. That has not been confirmed at all, and I am not coquettishly denying that we really do not know what is going to be in that interim, but there's definitely going to be some.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Look, you haven't disappointed so far in both like big book stuff, but also in the offshoots. Accounting Affair is one of my favorite things I've ever listened to.
Oh, wasn't it fun?
Yeah, it was.
I love that too because, like, if you're a fan of Erica, well, isn't it fun to find out that she's also a great comedy writer?
Yeah,
Like all that, like that was very, like, you know, I love watching people who don't DM because you get to see new talents and skills, and one of those is writing. You get to see, like, you know, even the improvising is writing in a way, but to then have Erica come on and DM and be like, they brought the jokes. I loved it. I think that's just one of the coolest parts of it. So I would love to see the entire cast take their turn at the DM table. I would love to have Erica back again, and hopefully we will see all this in the future. That's all I can say for now.
But
no, I think 2025 is a lock, barring some terrible disaster.
Great.
One of which is ongoing in the city where my cast lives now. So.
Oh, I boy, know, the world is literally on fire.
Yeah.
Well, I have no idea. Actually, do you have a hard out in 2 minutes?
No, you kidding me?
Great.
No.
I don't know. Great, wonderful. Let's see. What other stupid questions do I have? The gang's out of the woods, right? Like all the adventure and problems they've had in book 1, that's behind them.
No, they're just getting started. I think.
Oh, really? We're not. They're not set sail, clear skies here on out. But that's sarcasm. I know Brennan is going to bring the hammer down. He's a mean man.
No, we just wrapped up. We just recorded. You know, Abyssin was a very small skirmish, right? Abyssin was a very small event that obviously is outsized in importance in the lives of our characters, which is why we treated it like a grand battle, because to our characters, it absolutely was. It was as big as any battle that's ever been fought. But in the scope of the current conflict in the story between the Khemsarzan Empire and all these other, you know, nations and stuff, it was not even large enough to really register. We do see actual war in this arc, and the characters are in more mortal danger than they've ever been in before, and beyond, like, and just everyone is. I mean, before we reach the end of book 1, listeners will get to hear what, like, actual, very high level, like, world-changing combat looks like in the world of Umora, and it is bonkers. Ooh. It is bonkers. We had to, during the recording of those 2 episodes, we had to take breaks every, like, 20 minutes or so because it was just so fucking intense. And, you know, Brennan is just like, I think, never have I seen him do anything where you could tell that he had, in his brain, he had his foot to the floor. Like, had his foot pushing through, like, pushed pedal to the metal, full accelerator on, every neuron firing as fast and as hard as it could. You know, like, you know, when you watch people play football in the wintertime and they take their helmets off, the steam is coming off their head. That is what it looked like at the table. And it's, you know, it's like when your computer's rendering something too big, it gets hot. Your laptop starts to burn through your thighs.
Just go in and hose Brennan down and just throw almonds at him and to not just recharge.
The gang too. I mean, all the cast members will run up to me at the computer, and I replace their tires like a pit crew, shove them full of grease, almonds. Each of them gets a case of lime LaCroix, and then I, shove them back into the room, and just hope they don't overheat. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it was very cool. So it's like Abyssin times 10. It's really fascinating to watch.
I'm so excited. Everything. Oh, I'm so excited.
And let me tell you, we have not finished book 1, but this is just the beginning. We're not kidding when we say book 1. Like, this is, I mean, they are going to be in so much more trouble at the end of this book. Like, nothing is ending here. Nothing in the story is ending. This is only the beginning.
Well, no, because Suvi and Name are obviously going to become a couple, move back to her cottage, retire. Ursula gets to go home. The end. Everything's happy.
I don't think they'd work as a couple.
No, they wouldn't.
I think that they work. They are such a perfect pair of, like, childhood friends who love each other so deeply because of that early connection that they forgive wild differences and crazy moves now, which is the fucking definition of family. And so I think they play that perfectly. I don't think they would make a good romantic couple. I don't think there's any romantic chemistry there. And I'm like, listen, don't stop writing it. my friends, my Tumblr friends, do not let me tell you not to write anything. You fucking keep it up. But no, I don't think it would actually work. I think they work too well as, like, old good friends.
Yeah. It also would obviously be devastatingly bad for the show.
I don't know. Honestly, I used to think like that. I don't think like that anymore. I don't think anything could happen that would negate fun story stuff. There's nothing you can't write. There's nothing you can't write.
Fair. Look, if anyone could do it, it's those 4 lunatics. Because they're. I know we've talked about it, but, like, getting pulled in to be like, hey, you want to come produce 4 of the greatest storytellers maybe ever, but definitely alive. They're gonna make stories. Hey, you want to do that? Is that the, I assume, fastest yes you've ever had? Like,
yeah, it was a pretty fast yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Oh, you know what we have? I guess we haven't talked about the clearing since I've last spoken to you. I know you weren't designing on that, but obviously you were there for recording of it.
Well, I produced it as well. So, like, the design and the music all come to me, and then I put them out. But very little changes. Like, the composers and the designers should receive full credit because they did an incredible job.
Well, not Brian. We agree. We don't give Brian Flaherty full credit for anything.
I respect. Even my greatest, most profound enemies. From hell's heart I stab at thee, but damn it, I respect you.
Oh boy, it's just nothing but Star Trek today. Yeah,
it's been on my mind a lot, man.
Yeah,
I like Star Trek.
That's very good. I'm sad that I don't have Paramount Plus because I refuse to get yet another streaming service.
Netflix had all of Next Generation for a while.
Yeah,
are you a Next Generation boy?
I am a Next Generation boy. Yes,
me too, man. That shit's great.
Yeah. It was a lot of formative years where I was like, no, I can tell you the order of the cast on the credits. That's a thing. That's a thing that a human being needs to know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but it's just like, it's like a TV burn-in on my retinas is the credits for that show. Like, I could pick that color blue out of, like, a lineup of every shade at Home Depot of all the blues. That's the TNG credits blue. The reason why is because of the space show. Yeah. We've been talking about it so much, and we've all been talking about format, what we love about sci-fi, the different kinds of sci-fi, getting in fights about the difference between sci-fi and fantasy, which I have the only correct and perfect theory on.
Oh, let's hear it.
Fantasy is ultimately, okay, so here's what you got to understand about sci-fi and fantasy. They're not exactly mutually exclusive, but it's almost like the yin yang. They're not like, it's not a Venn diagram where they overlap. It's they both contain elements of the other, but are still independent. And it's not, the boundaries are not hard. right? It's like it's bell curve. You got slopes, you got gray areas and fuzzy things, because as in all of human art. But the fundamental difference between fantasy and sci-fi is this: fantasy is ultimately about abstracting the mechanics of power, so you can tell emotionally relevant stories that are removed from our very complex and uncomfortable understanding of power, how it functions in real life. Science fiction, pure science, and this is what I mean by pure science fiction, is concerned with the idea of, can we discover or build our way out of the human condition? So Game of Thrones is exactly fantasy, because it is just a typical war politics thriller, but instead of actual contemporary power, we abstract it into magic and dragons. So instead of a stealth bomber that can carry nuclear weapons, you have a dragon. And that way we can tell these stories that sort of feel relevant to us without dealing with the actual details of the actual world. And that allows a certain kind of storytelling that is a lot more palatable and marketable and fun, because you get to create all these fun new details. But science fiction, I think, and so I would say that because of these definitions, Star Wars is 100% fantasy. It is fantasy because we abstract power into these things like Death Stars, empires, the Force. Star Wars is not concerned with, can we build our way out of the human condition? Whereas something like Star Trek is science fiction and sometimes fantasy, because it's episodic, sometimes episodes, and even the same episode that can move back and forth. Because Star Trek is concerned with, well, if we didn't have to worry about money, if we could have spaceships that could travel anywhere in the world, like, would we still be human beings? Would we still? And of course, the answer of Star Trek is yes. Wherever you go, there you are. Like, there is no kind of planet, there is no kind of things where you can really escape these fundamental questions of, all the political questions. That's why I like Star Trek. But that's my pitch on the difference.
I like it a lot.
Science fiction and fantasy. People get so mad about it, and I like it. Get mad, motherfuckers! Fucking at me, I'll block you. I don't care. I'm here to fight, and I'm here to win, and it's gonna fucking happen. So we've been talking about shit like that. We had all like, what are all our favorite science fiction things? Why? What ideas do we like? What are the no-go zones? Preparing for this show. And so, of course, Star Trek has been weighing very heavily on my mind, because I think it's great science fiction. I really miss episodic TV, which I think is something we don't get enough of these days. Because, sitcoms, of course, do it. But I like Strange New Worlds. You like Strange New Worlds?
I haven't watched, but that's one of the ones that I've heard very good things about.
First two seasons, I haven't seen the third season, but first two seasons I really, really liked. Does it have the same, can I ever be 12 again watching Star Trek? No, but they do get off some really cool stuff in that show. And that Captain Pike, he ain't bad to look at. The whole crew is really fucking hot.
Yeah.
Which has always been the case with Star Trek. Quark can get it. Capital G, capital I. Those teeth are terrifying, but baby, we love a challenge.
Yeah.
But no, I love Star Trek. I think it's so rad. It's also something, I think it's just Star Trek The Next Generation, especially, and Deep Space Nine, were just such good stories. They were such good scripts. They were just, get in there for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and just could really blow you away. I love it so much. And whenever I think about like serialized or episodic storytelling, I think of X-Files, I think of Lost, and I think of Star Trek.
I love that. I love that a lot. One of my favorite things from Star Trek is The Next Generation, I should say, is when they would go to a planet that was just a place on Earth. So it was like, this is the Ireland planet.
The Scottish planet. Yeah. Is it Irish? It's an Irish or Scottish planet.
Yeah.
Where Beverly Crusher has sex with a ghost that lives in a lantern.
The exact episode I was going to talk to you about.
I love that. That episode is bonkers.
A candle ghost. A candle ghost, very importantly.
Sorry, not a lantern, a candle.
Yes.
That show. Remember the episode where they brought a bunch of poor Irish immigrants onto the ship?
Yes.
It's like people, kids today their heads would explode.
Yes.
If they watched one of these episodes.
Yeah.
That show had the weirdest reputation with Irish people. It is, and it all goes back to Gene Roddenberry was really weird about Irish stuff. And so it was just, that show had the weirdest, some of the weirdest episodes. Yeah, like, let's have Beverly Crusher have sex with an Irish candle ghost. Let's bring a bunch of like poor Irish 19th century stereotypes onto the ship for some reason, where they're trying to like barter sheep to have sex with Riker.
Yeah.
Which, buddy, same.
Yeah.
But like weird.
You don't need to
weird to
barter
have on
sheep.
TV.
He's down. He's down. You don't have to barter for that.
One
Just pop
episode.
a button. He's ready.
One episode, you like Measure of a Man, where you have this where Data's on trial to see if he's sentient, which is one of the most like it's mostly just Patrick Stewart looking in the camera and reading Hamlet to you, and it's one of the most moving hours of TV. Or the episode where Riker falls in love with the alien that's discovering gender on the genderless planet. Do you remember this one?
Yeah.
One of the best episodes of TV ever made. And then the next episode is, well, can't you believe we're in space? Oh, look at that. The star's going to blow up. You better save me, ship. Have sex with me daughter, Captain Picard. And it's like spin the wheel of what the show's going to be, which is one of the reasons it's great.
Yeah. It'll be like, oh, yeah, one of the most moving, or one of the most like incredible, like Picard becomes a Borg, Mr. Worf fire, like cliffhanger, oh my god, and then it's like, oh, but also we're addicted to this little game where you move discs into tubes, and we can't stop playing it.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
I love that show. I love Star Trek. If anyone out here has not seen it, just go find where it's streaming. It's really good background TV because it's just really nice and beige. Everyone is very sweet. And there's a constant hum in the background of the ship that is very soothing and calming.
Yeah, but you are going to want to sit down for Beverly Crusher Ghost Candle Sex.
You can't miss it.
Beverly Crusher. I don't know what the name of the episode is. Is it Sub Rosa? I think it's Sub Rosa.
That sounds right.
It is Sub Rosa. Ooh, what a pull! What a pull! Yeah, that one you're going to want to sit down. You're going to want to experience all of that one because Beverly gets addicted to that good ghost candle dick. She cannot, and it's apparently it's a generational curse for her. Every lady in her family falls in love with this ghost. That's the actual plot of the episode.
Back in the day, they would order like 24 episodes in a season, and you had to give them 24 episodes.
Yeah, there's none of this like BBC format. We're doing 6 and we're out.
No,
you had 6 solid months of new episodes of television. You got 42 minutes, and you got advertisers to
you can't
respond
be like,
to.
Marina Sirtis is sick, we can't do an episode this week. No. You just be like, what scripts do we have? Get them in there. Beverly Crusher has a family curse of an Irish sex candle ghost. Yes. She's on an Ireland planet. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Put it up.
I love the like very specific TNG planets, just like this is the Native American planet, and you're like, but why? Why is there like, it's like, but this planet is all Germany, and it's like, I'm so confused by the universe you have created.
It rules.
But yes, such a delight. Well, I can't wait to see where the rest of the gang lands in your scale of fantasy and sci-fi, and what comes with a Bria's space adventure. I'm sure going to be super fun. I'm also, I talked to Abria about this very briefly, but like really excited to get to see not only her play without the limits of like, you get 10 episodes, go, do as much as you want. And I'm also excited because this will be the first time, at least for me, seeing Brennan create a character that also doesn't have a limit. So is not just like either built to be the most destructive force in the universe or built to be a bit. In theory, I guess he could still do both of those things, but in theory, like there will be more depth to whatever Brennan is making. In theory.
My man, I don't want to speak for him, but just as a friend, he is very excited to play a long-running PC.
I can't wait for it. Taylor, this has been absolutely amazing. If people want to send you instruments, where can they find your social media to ask you if you want those instruments rather than just like mailing instruments? I'm not going to give out your home address.
Hit me up at contact@fortunatehorse.com.
Amazing. Yeah. Send him your old trombones that are just collecting dust.
Yeah. You got old winds, you got old brass.
Yeah. That was my band instrument. It's long gone.
Sorry, what?
That was my old instrument in band.
What'd you
long,
play?
long gone.
What? Which one?
Trombone.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. because I played piano, and so I was in the jazz band for piano, but I couldn't be in regular band, and you
Yeah.
had to be in regular band to be in the jazz band.
Yes.
So I played trombone in the regular band, and I was terrible.
Oh, that's sweet though. I
Yeah.
like that. I'm also taking piano lessons. I'm trying to learn how to play actual piano.
Very fun. I can only play Yankee Doodle, so like a decade worth of lessons gone. But I can play Yankee Doodle in every key. The important things happened in life. Amazing. Contact Unfortunate You go give them instruments. Taylor, absolute best. Such a pleasure. I cannot wait for Velveteen and the madness that will ensue when he is a giant porcelain nightmare.
Please help me level up so I can be a major problem for Jordan.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Amazing. I don't know how to end an interview, so I'm just going to hit stop recording.